Good afternoon, folks, and thanks for joining us. Welcome to the MMA Sucka Podcast. My name's Tim Wheaton, joined as always by the one and only Frazer Krohn. Today we have a special guest. We are interviewing Lightning Reece McLaren. How are you doing today, sir?
Yeah, I'm doing so good, as you can see. Loving life.
Oh, man, absolutely. And you got a big fight coming up here. You're going to be fighting the former champion on May 5th at One Fight Night 10. This is going to be live in the U.S. Tell us, how's training coming along and all that good stuff?
Oh, man, this has been an amazing camp. It's my first full camp in almost two years now, I think. Yeah, look, I've really crossed all the T's, dotted every I that I possibly could with the help of my bosses basically. And there's another 3 weeks to get fit. I can't wait. Get out there and yeah, man, I'm looking forward to this one.
So like you sort of alluded to there, you know, you haven't had a full training camp in almost what like you said 2 years. You said you're looking forward to getting out there. When are you looking at heading over to the US? Obviously, it's a big card in the US. It's one's first sort of trip over to the US. When are you thinking about heading over there and sort of acclimatizing to the atmosphere over there?
Yeah, look, we're gonna fly out almost. I think it's almost about 2 weeks, maybe just shy of 2 weeks early. That was one of the biggest fears, was the elevation thing, but now I've been doing a few things here and there, and we've been dabbling, and I honestly think I've got myself prepared for that, and I think we've given ourselves enough time to what was the word that you used, to get used to that atmosphere,
Acclimatize to the atmosphere and what? Yeah.
Sorry, been a big afternoon training.
It's a heck of a flight over, going from Australia to Colorado. Like, what's your game plan? Not just in the fight. What's your game plan on flights? Like, how do you last through a flight that long? How long are you there for before flying back home again?
That pretty much goes flying out the next day as well. It's
Okay.
Yeah, pretty much FIFO, fly in, fly out. I think always I've found traveling to somewhere, you switch quicker. It's when you come back, you're always out of whack. But yeah, look, I think the biggest issue I'm gonna have is food on the flight. This bloody making weight thing, it's a drag, eh?
Is it a lot of weight that you have to cut? Are you looking at sort of getting? Obviously, you've got what, 3.5 weeks now until fight night. Is it a case of you getting sort of down to near the weight and then not having to worry about it when you're over there, or are you sort of going to, look to cut quite a lot? Obviously, we have the hydration test and whatnot, so it's a little bit different as to what we sometimes see in different promotions. But yeah, what's your plan for the sort of weight cut?
Yeah, it's I think the biggest thing I struggled with last time was like finding food that I was able to eat. This time around, I think there's a few organizations, like companies, that I'll be able to try and get a hold of. But it's the it doesn't matter what you really do on the airplane, you're always going to come and land heavy. It's just, you always do. It's so weird. That 24-hour or whatever it is, I think all up it's almost 34 hours or something of like travel time. So we just have to navigate that and have a good day's rest when we arrive, and then start smashing back into it that week, and then fight week rolls in and away we go. Yeah, well, look, the
yeah.
Oh, sorry.
Oh no, all you, man. Go ahead.
The hydration thing and everything is very tricky. It's almost just as tricky as cutting weight. Sometimes I wish I could just cut the weight, to be honest, but it's just like you've got to be so careful that you don't eat something that's going to make you put on too much weight, if that makes sense. Like, last week is crucial, but the week before I feel is just as crucial, because you've really got to set yourself up for that. If you know what you're doing and you have the right team, which I believe I do, I truly believe I'm with the absolute best dietitians in the world for this, and they've got me there every time. So, yeah.
Well, and the nice thing is he's flying in just as far. So any problems on the flight, he's hopefully suffering through them as well, because he's coming in quite a ways. But I wanted to ask you about your team, like you were talking about. You're training with folks like There's some absolutely incredible people in your corner getting ready for this camp. Most of all, your biggest cheerleader is now the legendary John Wayne Parr. Man, what's this? This guy's going in interviews being like, this guy could kick my ass and Moyd. But like, what does it feel? What does it sound like hearing all that kind of stuff coming from John Wayne Parr?
It's so crap. I pinch myself every day. When we go for like a little jog and stuff, like, this is so cool. We're jogging along and stuff, I'm like, whoa, John Wayne. It's like, oh, it's so cool. It's yeah, it's really just giving me like new spirits and just like a new like lease in training life. It's really cool. And man, if you know Wayne, he's an absolute man. He's so funny. He's just like a buddy. It's like, yeah, so like the bloody toilet door or something wouldn't open the other day. I was like, Wayne. He goes, you still need your dad, don't you?
So looking ahead to the actual fight itself, obviously we've got a rematch. It didn't go your way last time. How much can you? Are you someone that's watched that fight back a number of times, or sort of picked up on what maybe he got the better of you in that last one, and how can you sort of use that last fight to obviously get your hand raised in this one?
Yeah, that fight is just a terrible one. I don't think it's a good one to even like watch and try and pick things off. I truly believe I just fought terribly. It was a fight camp that I was extremely well rested. I've done more, or I feel like I did more in the first month than I did the whole kind of fight camp. We were sprinting for fitness, sprinting hills for fitness. Not really. I didn't really have very many training partners. It's just there's excuses and excuses, but there's no real point in like, oh, I did this, I didn't have that, blah 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 blah. I still went in there. I went in a little bit light. That was another big issue. I know he comes in heavy. Whatever he's doing, he's worked out how to pass this hydration test and then come back in very hydrated. Very hydrated. So this one, no, I know all the mistakes I made through camp. There was just a number of mistakes that were made, and I really feel like I've corrected them. And I am as fighting fit as ever these last ones since I've moved camp. So yeah, I'm not like marathon running fit anymore. I'm fighting fit, like ready for war.
Nice.
And it's going to be worth it. Like winning now on the debut card in the US, and then you will be next in line for a title shot. Like your name is now in the same sentence as Demetrious Johnson and Adriano Moraes. What does that sound like, man? What does that mean to you?
Goosebumps.
Yep.
Instant goosebumps. Come on, man. Like, I should have fought Adriano years ago, and earlier that year that they gave away an interim title. So it's almost like I should have then been fighting for that interim title. It's just this flyweight belt it's eluded me for too long. It's right there for the picking and for the fighting, right? This one lines it up. Let's do it.
So is that the sort of, when you get your hand raised on May 5th, is that what you're going to do straight away? You're going to say, look, I'm next. I'm the winner. I'm next for the winner, regardless of who wins. It's my time. Is that what you're going to call for?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I'm not good at standing in line. I don't want to wait in any line. All the stones have been stepped. It's go time. This is the year to do it.
This is the year to do it. But how do you see the main event going? Adriano Moraes and Demetrious Johnson fighting for the third time. They've traded flying knee knockouts back and forth. How do you see the trilogy fight going?
I think this is going to be just as exciting. I truly believe that the weight miss or whatever happened with Adriano really, really punished him. And I think it showed. Like he kind of gassed within the what was it, like second round or something. He really slowed up.
Yeah.
So I think he's had, how long has he had? He's had so long to make the weight. I can only imagine he's going to do it as easy as he's ever done it. You'd imagine.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I just, Demetrious doesn't get hit very well. He doesn't take a punch very well. I think that's shown throughout his whole career. Is a little bit of a right pitch, a bit of a flick and it bruises. But it's hitting that, which is the issue. So if Moraes can, I feel it's going to go Moraes' way. But if not, it's just going to be like a rerun of the last one. That's the only way I can see it going.
And I'm sure you don't care who's holding the belt by the time that you stand across the octagon. But in an ideal world, you've got Moraes, you've got Johnson. Who would you prefer to fight, or are you? It's just a body in there for you. Is there a preference for you as far as name value or skill set, or is it just whoever's got the belt, I'm next in line?
It's for me. It feels like it's in one breath. It's whoever's got it. But for the sake that we were meant to fight, I think 5 years ago, 2018, I think it was. I'd love to just get it done with Moraes. I don't want to say easier fight or anything like that, but I feel like I match up a little bit more meaner against Adriano.
There's no easy pick. There's no easy fight of like, I'm going to pick Demetrious Johnson, one of the most skilled fighters in history, or Adriano Moraes, a freaking giant for this weight class. This guy is absolutely massive. Yeah.
So massive. With the new implementation of this 5% thing of being over, I don't see him being here for much longer. So, that's another reason why I'd like to get that fight done.
Yeah. Absolutely, man. Absolutely. But let me ask you, so who were some of the original inspirations that got you into MMA initially? Because I've read some of the cool stories of like you were in, I think refrigeration repair and then got into MMA, but like, did you see it on TV? Were you just like in a gym? How did you get into it initially?
Yeah, so crazy. So I was working at the airport on Christmas Island, and a security guard started working, and he had like lived in Canada and was dabbling with Muay Thai lots, and he had seen jiu-jitsu, so he showed us that. And then YouTube was our big teacher. And then when I moved to the mainland, it was I had to just find a school, and the grappling aspect has always interested me all the way back from the WWE days. It was always like, the scissor leg lock, all those sort of, I always wanted to know the more grappling stuff. So yeah, it was just a small community with the right presence of people, just the right influences, kind of really pushed me down this way. And then being kind of successful, I thought, man, I'll chase my dream here, and it seems to kind of be paying off.
It's certainly paying off. And how much sort of inspiration are you taking from Australian mixed martial arts in the past, I'd say sort of 5 years has really taken off. Obviously we've got Alexander Volkanovski in the UFC, you got Rob Wilkinson just killing people in the PFL. How much is that kind of an inspiration to you, sort of, carrying that flag of Australia into one championship now?
I think it's just, we got to have someone with the right character that just the community or Australia really get behind. It's, I don't want to say like the Conor McGregor effect or whatever, but I think seeing all these guys that, man, Volkanovski was laying concrete up until he got his title shot. Sort of, it's just these blue collar hard workers. It's everyday inspiration.
Yeah, it strikes me as a lot of the sort of Australian guys at the top of the game come from very humble beginnings, and I think like you said, Volkanovski was laying concrete until he had his title shot. Rob Wilkinson in the UFC, cut from the UFC, and now is, the $1 million man in the PFL. I think, that's I think that's something that is sort of, paving the way for the Australian guys to really, and girls, of course, but to really kind of, they may be going under the radar until they're not. Is that sort of how you maybe feel in this one? All eyes are going to be on Johnson versus Moraes main event, blah, blah, blah. But you want to cement yourself as that next guy, what by all means, how is your sort of mentality as far as, is it kind of an underdog mentality that you're going in as part of, the Australian collective, or is it kind of, I'm the man to beat now?
Nah, definitely underdog. It's kind of the one banner just isn't really respected as much as it should be in the whole aspect of, I mean, there's a lot of Australian fans just watch one. They don't even know that it's a promotion, and it's yeah, it's just been terribly frustrating over the years, you know, like, oh, you're gonna go blah blah. Like, mate, I've been top 5 in one for the last, since they've brought out rankings. Like, give me my respect, damn it.
Yeah, for sure.
But
yeah, it's frustrating.
Well, I think MMA in Australia, like, and you would know, like, it's at a troubled past of, like, it's only in the last few years. Because if you remember, like, I think Elvis Sinisic was like, it was never legal for him to fight in the country. He could only fight stateside or something weird like that, or they didn't allow elbows for a long time. Like, it's been a tough road for Australia to get this far.
Yeah, the cage was banned in WA up until a couple of years. Sydney had a lot of different rules, and it depended where you were. And
Yeah,
I think Queensland, with its little cowboy mentality, that this state's definitely opened up the rest of the states to then be like, all right, we can do it. Melbourne, I think it was illegal in Melbourne. That was a big one. So yeah, I mean, right now it's pretty much legal everywhere, and people are loving it. So tune into one, because honestly, the best martial artists are in one.
For sure, for sure.
yeah, it's going to be an awesome show. Looking forward to the fight coming up. Last question. Talk us on out of here, Reece. Thank who you need to thank. Shout out any sponsors you need to shout out. I'll just do a quick rundown here. You're going to be fighting May 5th, one Fight Night 10 against Kairat Akhmetov. Sir, tell us everything. Where can we find more of you?
You can find me on Instagram, Reece Lightning 91, on the old Facebook, Reece Lightning McLaren. I've just started up a TikTok. Yep, just let them spies in. Yeah, man, this camp's been amazing. I've got the most amazing sponsors on board with me this time round. I could bring up the notes. I don't want to miss anyone.
That's right.
Yeah, the locals have really supported the locals this time. I've got, Bath Concrete, Combat Nutrition, Media Evolution Agencies, Boulangerie Vietnam. Oh man, the best by me. Dos Lobos, all the way to Building Industry and Training, being one of my longest time sponsors. So big shout out. Before we speak, Author, finest jiu-jitsu appeal you can get. Man, Integrated Sports and Spinal, need that click and crack, they'll fix you up. Osteos are the way to go. And of course the big one, Advanced Deconstruction. Those boys have really looked after me. This camp would not be possible without them.
Awesome stuff. Hey, thanks so much for your time, sir. Best of luck in the match.
Best of luck.
Hey, thank you very much for having me.